how do we open the gift of adoption? We were born into this world strangers to God. We were not in his family. Everyone born in this world is of their father, the devil. Jesus said that, I didn't. John 8:44. You are of your father, the devil. We were born, 1 John 5:20 says, in the arms of the evil one. We are his children by nature and by choice. So how do we get in a better family? Part of salvation, adoption. We need to be adopted into his family. Regeneration has to do with us coming alive. Adoption has to do with us getting to know God and being close with him. And what does that look like? Well, John 1:12. It says, but to as many as receive him, get saved, to them they have the right to become children of God. I am God's child. And Romans 8:28 says, this is what I promised every one of my kids. I will work out everything during your lifetime for my good. And so if something doesn't look good to you, then look to me and I'll show you what's good about it. Instead of you worrying about your life, I'm going to work everything in your life out for my good. And anything you don't understand, I'll explain it to you. That's part of adoption, trusting God's plan. And it doesn't end there. There's redemption. We also had another problem. From birth, we're slaves to whatever sins we've cultivated and enjoyed. And people cultivate all different sins, a lot and a little, but we're all sinners and we're designer sinners. We kind of mix and match, and we're slaves to that sin. And so what does God do? In redemption, God says, you now belong to me. You were bought at a price. And because I bought you, I am making you my special workmanship. Now I belong to God. I'm not a slave to sin. And by the way, that's what Luther used to do, Martin Luther. When Satan would tempt him, he would say, Jesus, you answer the door because I belong to you now. He's not my master anymore. You're my master. I don't have to answer to him. And when we look at life about how and why we're like we are, say, God, what are you doing? And he says, I am forming you. And now let's get to the last one. Sanctification. Sanctification is about the fact that our whole operating system is corrupted. We've been infected with a virus. Even the plowing of the wicked is sin. We need sanctification. What is sanctification? It's being useful to God. And it's really the last and the ultimate and the lifelong part of salvation. But most of us need to learn this about sanctification. During sanctification, we become more painfully aware of our sin than any other time because we say, I want to be useful, take anything out of my life that is not pleasing you. And all of a sudden we go, oh, it's like going into a black light museum and you see all the fuzz all over you. You go, oh, I didn't even know all that was there. Wow. That's what sanctification, the lights get brighter. And you know what happens with people in sanctification? They become so consciously aware of their sin that they feel like if they read 3 more verses, God will love them a little more, and if they read 3 less, he loves them less. Sanctification, underlying Romans 8:35 says, nothing can separate me from God's love. I can't do anything to make him love me a little bit more, and I can't not do something that makes him love me a little bit less. And finally, 2 Timothy 1:7, God hasn't given us a spirit of fear. Sanctification teaches me I don't need to fear anything.